Hey friends, it's Jenny. And if you've seen some stuff already today with the official reveal of the Wicked Brew Design Challenge Kit from Softflex, I'm about to make with this. I have been wanting to make this since this was first announced, and I saw that there were strands for both the pink and the green witch, Glinda and Elphaba. And I was excited because I knew I would have like that, several different colors to play with. And when I got it, and it also had separate bead mixes for each colorway, I knew I was going to have a lot of beads to work with. And this is what is just left in my box after I already pulled out a whole bunch of beads that I plan on making with tonight. So I might still get some things out of this box. For example, some of the metals. Beki did an unboxing and a reveal, and she set aside these metals to test. She has completed those testing, so I can tell you here in this video that all of these metals that came in the bead strands and the bead mixes, as well as the charms, the wand charm and the hat charm, were nickel free. The clasp and the ear wires we usually just don't even mess with just because it's easier to go ahead and just use what I already have for those. But all of these metals from our test results were that they were nickel free. So I will be using some of these that I'll add in to some of the links that I make, but I am continuing our beaded chain challenge by doing a bracelet trio. Now, I have not done very many chain bracelets at all, and I have never done a chain bracelet trio. Now, for those of you who may not have seen one of my bracelet trios before, let me explain a little bit what it's about. So it sounds like I'm going to make 3 bracelets. You are correct. I am going to make 3 bracelets, and you can wear them together and stack them, and that is absolutely one of the ways that you can wear it. But one of the things about my bracelet trios is that I designed them to be worn together in a variety of ways. It is convertible jewelry. All 3 of my bracelets are going to be made with matching magnetic clasps. I'm using these sparkly rhinestone ones because it just really goes with this kit. And so when you wear these, you can take 2 of those bracelets, for example, and combine them together into more of like a choker length necklace. You can combine all 3 bracelets into a longer necklace that's, closer to about a 22-inch necklace. And so there's a variety of ways you can do it. You can mix and match. Like if you want to wear it choker style, you can choose which bracelet you want to wear as a bracelet and wear the other 2 as your necklace. And you can position your longer necklace so that any one of those bracelets can be the focal or center of it. When I have 2 distinct colorways to go with, I did this with like the GGC treasure bags over the summer and stuff like that. I will usually take one colorway. In this case, it might be kind of obvious. We're looking at Glinda the Good Witch here, and I make one that does this, and then I make one that's the other colorway, and then the third one combines them and it's kind of the bridge between the 2. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing with this because I love pink and green together too. So it's like, this is just so great. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. I'm recording this at like 3 o'clock in the morning, so it will post after the official reveal, but that hasn't actually happened yet. It will be by the time you see this video. But let me just go over tools really quick and we're gonna dive in. Because I am gonna be making 3 different bracelets, these do typically go about an hour. I am doing it all chain, and because there's so many different links anyway, making some links ahead of time really isn't gonna save that much time. So I decided I'm just going to make the whole thing with you. And if we have time and we're feeling it, I have an idea for some earrings that will go with the bracelet trio too. I don't always do earrings with it, but I'm kind of feeling it today. So I am going to be using, since I'm doing wire work, my Casual Comfort plier set. I've got round nose pliers, chain nose pliers and flat nose pliers. I'll be using the flat nose pliers to work hard in loops as well as straighten them and open and close to attach. I am also going to be using some flush cutters, and I am using a 20 gauge Softflex wire in the silver color, and this one is starting to run low, but I do have another spool here as backup if I run out making 3 bracelets. I don't think I will, but I might. I'm prepared either way. So this is a little bit tricky. Like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of chain bracelets. One of the things you have to think about when you are designing a chain bracelet is that you can't really do a whole lot of long links because it needs to be able to curve around your wrist. And I couldn't resist. I had to use these big fat focals that were on the bead strand. I've got this crystal heart for Glinda's, and then I've got this, it's kind of a squared off round. I mean, it looks round, but it's also squared off and it's faceted for Elphaba. And so they are going to have like a chunky focal on each of their own special bracelets. But then I really need to be careful not to add too many beads to these other links. So I'm going to put together these links. If I do add some beads, it might be some little spacers like these, or I really want to add some glitz to this, but I don't think that I'm going to have the room. Maybe just on the middle one. Let's see how that looks on the wire. I also, one of the other things you have to think of is like how you connect them. If you want more movement of your bracelet, more natural lay, then it makes sense to connect your links with jump rings, just so that they have more articulation. And I might need to do that if I don't like the way that it's draping, but that means using fewer links and so fewer of the beads I've selected. So we're going to be kind of experimenting a little bit, and this is something that I am learning because, like I said, I have not done a beaded chain with as a bracelet, as a trio at least. I think I've maybe made one like once, but for the most part, I really haven't. And this is a big enough bead. I'm not worried about it spinning because it's going to want to lay flat when it's on your wrist. I do think that this heart needs to be dressed up a little bit. So I'll dress up the black focal as well. So I think that this is nice. It kind of gives a little bit of a crown treatment to it. And then I'm going to make links. These ones are going to be solo beads, just kind of stand alone. And what I'm doing right now, I didn't tell you what I was doing earlier, was when I was straightening it. You just kind of run it between your fingers back and forth. It warms up the wire, straightens it. You can use pliers if you want to, but they can work harden. So that's just something to be aware of. This kind of warms it up so it's a little easier to work with. And I like it. So I'm just putting all of my beads for this bracelet on this wire. I'm just curious, like, how long is that before we even do the link? So this is 12.5 centimeters. And then there's going to be the links to combine them. I think this might be just about the right length that we need because I need 20 centimeters for my bracelet and 2 centimeters is going to be taken up by the clasp. So if we make simple links and link them all together, I think it's going to be just about the right size. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. If I have room to add more, I will, but I think that this is going to be the center. And then we're going to position these others, play around with it and get them. I might swap what I had. I had these ones closer, but I might do them more at the end. So our rounds are kind of finishing the bracelet, but we have more distinct shapes closer to the heart. So what I'm going to do for my simple loop is I'm just going to pinch it here. I'm going to describe it the first time, and then I'm making a lot of links. So I'll do it on camera so you can see it, but not necessarily describe it. So I just pinch the end of my flush cut wire there. I do like my loops a little bit smaller, especially since I am not concerned about length, but I'm thinking about length when I do this. And then roll that towards me until the metal meets the metal. And right now it's kind of like a P shape. So then I take my pliers and I just position this back one against the wire and give it just a little bit of a knock. So what that does is it centers that loop. So then I am going to take this, whoops, it's my ladybug dish, and I'm just going to go about a finger length down and cut it with the flush end towards the spool, because this one is going to get one more trim, but this way I can start the next link with a flush cut. So I'm just going to take this, and so that my bead doesn't go anywhere, I'm just going to take it and bend it over. And I am going to try to make these parallel links, but I may not be totally successful, but I will adjust any of them that I need to later with my pliers. So that is the first step, and I'm going to be doing that step with all of my links. And then I'll show you what I move on to next. I'm definitely doing these assembly style just because we're, like I said, we're making a lot of links tonight. So just moving that bead up. And I haven't decided if I'm going to have them point round side in or pointy side in. I haven't decided that yet. But I'm just bending over this wire, and this is a dead soft wire, so it's not terribly hard. I find it easy enough to bend over with my fingers, but if you prefer to use pliers, you can. But that's what you see me doing with it. It's just bending over that wire. This is not a hard wire. I need to move this box a little bit. It's in my elbow space. So moving the box aside, I'll get into it if I need to. It's just nice having all those beads inspiring me. How many of you got really inspired when you saw this collection? How many of you don't know what to do? Maybe my video here will inspire you, give you some ideas. I do love the versatility of the bracelet trio. I love that you can wear it in so many different ways, and it's a concept that is easily applied to a lot of different collections, groups of beads, even beads from your own stash. So if you didn't get this kit, which I know is, I think there's a few left, is what they'd said when Kristen was making from the Charming kit. She'd said that there's a few left. I'm not sure if at the time that this video releases there will be any left. If there is, you can go get one. But if you missed it or opted not to get it, but you like this concept or this idea, you can absolutely get into your stash. Pick whatever color combination of beads you want to put together and create your own bracelet trio. There's a reason I keep coming back to it. I've asked if people are tired of it yet, and everybody says, no, we love the bracelet trio. So you know what? This is like an extended bracelet bash is what it is. It's the same concept applied to a lot of different boxes, but instead of all in one video, it is more of a series of videos. And as long as people still enjoy it and I still get inspired to create it, this is just going to be a thing I keep making and adding to our channel. Becky loves it. When I told her I wanted to do a bracelet trio with this collection, she was so excited because she absolutely saw my vision. Let's see if I can live up to the vision, because I'm like I said, I'm practicing chain. That's why I'm participating in the September chain challenge. September is wrapping up. This is my 7th chain, and Becky and I both set the same goal. She set the goal and I matched hers to create 2 chain necklaces per week. And since this can be worn as a necklace, I say it counts, even though I'm calling it bracelets. It definitely counts. I'm definitely practicing making my links and my chain. That one is definitely going to need to be fixed later because it twisted in my hand, and that's okay. I love these little mermaid glass ones. They're so dreamy. They are so dreamy. And there's, like I said, there's so much still in the box to make with that don't even, like this doesn't even cover it. This doesn't even cover it. Make sure I get this nice and straightened. There's our focal link. Finally got back down to it after I made all these other links. So we've got the quatrefoils, the faceted crystal rounds, the faceted pink, kind of a balloon shape, or a drop, and then the mermaid glass. Those are the links that I'm using for this first bracelet. Move the wire out of our way for a little bit. So after I bend over the wire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down to about 1 centimeter. I am just measuring against my finger, just because that's what's easy for me. And I am just using my flesh cutters and snipping off the end of that wire. I'm just going to do that to all of these links. This is why I'm doing it assembly line style. If you haven't done your links this way, you might want to try it. It can save time. It can save, you know, wear on your hands and your joints, not going back and forth between different tools all the time. And you can just, you know, hang out. You can put on a video and just sit and make links and not be too stressed about it. Like, I'm just sitting here telling you all about everything that I've rambled about for the last 10 minutes. I don't even think it's been 10 minutes since I started working on these links. See, so I'm getting a little bit. They're all, like I said, they're all getting a trim, and they're all getting this trim so that it's the flush side is towards the work. I should have said that when I started, but I didn't. But this way, everybody's got a nice flush cut. And we're about to make our second loop. So you just take your same bead, went ahead and set aside my cutters, and take that newly flush cut and just twist it until that metal meets metal. Because I bent the wire over to begin with, I don't have to make an adjustment at this point to center my loop. It's already doing that because this is the way I did it. So, and like I said, I will be work hardening and adjusting all of these loops after I finish doing this. So some of them are kind of kicking over to the side because I just have a small bead to hold on to, but they can all be adjusted. And I'm not even paying attention to which order I'm doing them because that doesn't matter. The order only matters when I start connecting them. They're all getting the same step applied. And I know a lot of you don't mind a little bit longer video, so I figured you wouldn't mind hanging out with me while I made all these links, since I'd have to make half of them with you anyway, because there's a lot of little twosies on these links. Usually I try to prepare some ahead of time, especially when I have, like, you know, 8 of the same link. It just makes sense for me to do that ahead of time. But a lot of you like to see the process, so tonight, that's what you're gonna get. And if it's a longer video, it's a longer video. I hope you got a drink or a project, decide to come hang out. Maybe you're organizing your box. Maybe you're digging in your stash. Maybe you're just relaxing at the end of a long day at work. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're enjoying hanging out. All right, so this is the last one that I am creating the loop on at the end. All right. Okay, so what I'm doing next is I'm taking, set my chain nose and my, not chain nose, but my round nose and my flush cutters off to the side, because now I'm straightening my links, because I'm grabbing one in each of my pliers, and see how I'm not parallel? All I do is a little twist, And when I do that, I'm just squeezing both of them. So they're getting a little bit of a squish to work harden instead of using a hammer by your bead and worrying about it getting banged up. This just allows you to both adjust your link at the same time that you are applying a little bit of pressure to work harden your loop and help it stay the way it's supposed to. See, so just a little bit of adjustment until my pliers themselves are parallel, then I know that my links are too. So this. It's pretty easy. It is an important step since you are applying the work hardening. Like I said, none of these need to face a specific way, so I'm just making all of mine parallel just so it doesn't look all jumbled. I think it'll look neat, tidy. And if I need to adjust any because for whatever reason, then I can certainly do so. But everything I'm using, including my clasps, are free to spin, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so I'm gonna work from the center of my bracelet out because I know that I want this focal, and I need to make sure that it fits within that 18 centimeters so that it's the length of bracelet that I want. Now, because these are trios and they can be worn stacked, it's okay if it's a little bit looser for me because some of them are gonna go farther up my arm or closer to my wrist, to my hand. Not all of them are gonna be right here where I prefer to wear my bracelets. It's just normal. So if I really wanna add a link and it's gonna make it, you know, half an inch longer, I'm not gonna stress about that. That's my longest, I don't have in inches. My longest link, or my shortest link rather, is about 5/8 of an inch. So that's my shortest link. So we'll kind of see where I am with stuff, but I am first going to try it linking everything directly to the heart. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and use these guys and then these guys, whoops. And then these guys. See, and I've got a little bit of an open loop there. That's okay, I will fix that as I'm linking things because of the way that we do it. And then we've got these guys. This looks really long, but it is gonna compress a little bit as we connect the links. But like I said, I'm working from the middle out. If I need to leave off any links, it's gonna be these guys, see? So I'm keeping all of my pink and my special shaped crystal in this design. So these are the maybes at the end because I'm trying to figure out for sure what I'm doing. And right now I've estimated a lot. I've estimated on how much space I'm gonna need. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and, that one is pretty closed. I'm gonna go ahead and, because I know I will at least need these other links, I'm gonna do one side up to that point, just because it's easier than flipping back and forth. Just opening that loop that I made and then attaching the next item. And then I shift to the new link and I open it up. And yep, this is the one that's already fully closed. So I'm just going ahead and putting it on here. And then this one is a little bit open, but when I attach it either to the next link or the clasp, I'm not mad at the way that lays. I think that that's not bad considering like the big part's going to be on my wrist. I feel like because I went with smaller links here, this is okay. This is okay that this is a little bit bigger. And what I might do even is bend this just a little bit. There's only so much I can do anyway because the heart itself, so it's gonna just sit a little bit up. See what I mean? I might try to bend that down a little bit, but also since this can be worn as a necklace, I don't really want to bend it if I don't feel like I have to. You know what I mean? Or am I rambling? Sorry, turning this so I can get to the part of my loop that opens. And just repeating this process with the other side. So I'm putting this in so it mirrors here, and we've got the rounded part towards the heart, the center of the bracelet. Okay. I hope that I can use all of them. This is going to help me know if I need to cut some things from the other bracelets, but I have room. Just like this one, I have links that I'm willing to sacrifice at the ends of my design if I need to shorten it a little bit. So it's okay. It's okay. This is the adjustment bit. So this is all but these two, which combined, these should be, since I'm measuring against the centimeters, this is about 3 centimeters. And I need 3 centimeters. Yes. Yes, I did good, guys. So I'm doing them last because I thought that they might make it too long, but they don't. They don't make it too long. They give me exactly what I need to finish those last 3 centimeters. Sorry, I should have had that and showed you what I was measuring. But I'm just attaching one of these to each end. This bead ended up with a little bit extra room on it, but that's okay. All right. This is the one that was open quite a bit, so I am just, as I'm twisting it back closed, I am also pushing in so that the metal goes up against the metal. That's all that I'm doing there. So now, if I add my clasp, then this is a 20-inch bracelet. Yay! Okay. All right. So I have on either side of this magnetic clasp, it actually did come with some little lobster claws, because this is also meant to be used by people who just want to add a magnetic clasp to existing jewelry, so you can easily just add that onto your existing closures. But I don't need those, so I took them off. And rather than wrestle with the jump ring there and attach here, I'm just going to open this loop. Again, it gives me a chance to make sure that it's nice and closed, and I am attaching it to one of the jump rings so that I'm not fighting the magnetic clasp as much, since, you know, I already did that. And then open up this side and curve this around and get the other side of the magnetic clasp. I left the magnetic clasp attached to itself so that it wouldn't just, you know, be trying to take over my pliers. Just one of the things that I do. So let's see how it fits. Let's see how this fits. Guys, it's so good. It is so good. This is probably the snuggest I want to have fit of the 3. If I wanted to add a little bit more space, I could easily just add a couple of jump rings to adjust the fit. But this design, and I like to wear a 7.5 inch bracelet. Let's see what this length actually is. See what I ended up with so that you guys can know, if you follow the same pattern, what length it will be. And it is from 0 to here. Whoa. Okay, well, it also has chunky beads. So this says it's 8 inches, but it definitely doesn't fit like 8 inches. Because of these chunky beads, this fits more like a 7.25. Because my wrist, right here, is a 7-inch wrist. And it was snug. It would probably fit closer to this. So this is why I'm going to be getting a bracelet mandrel, friends. I really am. But yeah, this is why, like, measuring the length this way isn't always what you want to do, because some of these beads are chunkier, and what it does is, because it has a bigger diameter, it pushes it out from your wrist a little bit. So see how that fits? So that length that I just measured there, that's not the length. You're going to want to make sure that you accommodate that. Use a bracelet mandrel if you've got one. And if you want to get one, I know who you can hook up from. but I think this is pretty. I think this is a great bracelet. So I'm gonna leave it on while we make our second bracelet. So give me just a moment and I will get the other beads. Actually, they don't take that long. I was gonna pause it and come back, but y'all don't need that. So this is Elphaba's bracelet, and I am going to add, because she needs a little bit of bling too. This is going to be her central bracelet. I don't think she's really going to be a rhinestone girl though. She might just need some of these little like washers, maybe some spiky things because she's a little bit spiky. Let's kind of see what looks good with it on the wire. There's a few different sizes, and Becky did test the different sizes as well. So, oh, that one has, it's missing a thingy do. So let's kind of play with that a little bit. The other ones are going to be simple. So like I did with the first bracelet, I'm going to focus on the focal one while I try to figure out what I want to add to it. And then I'll just do all the others ones as just singles on the wire. So I know that I want to do this. I'm thinking we might do one of these, because if you put these two together, then it's, you know, more like a crown and less spiky. Whereas if we have that washer in between, maybe that gives it more of that spiky look that I want, because she's a bit spiky. So then we do the larger one, a washer, and the smaller one. What do you think? I kind of like that. That's definitely different. That's definitely different. And it takes close to the same space as these glittery balls that Glinda got, but it kind of fits this a little bit better. So let's go with this. Let's go with this. And I'm going to go ahead and load on my other beads. So I'm using these black fire polish. I think those are the fire polish. I have my list. Where did my list go? Oh, under my box. There. Oh, they were in the bead mix, so I don't think they're identified specifically. And then also bead mix and bead strand beads. You gotta have some of this green. I am doing mostly black on hers, but that's okay. Those are the sizes that I wanted. I've got some other things that I want to do later that I think I'm going to use some of the other more translucent beads, but these are the ones that felt like they fit for this. So it is kind of odd that I've only got, but you know, honestly on this one, there's only a couple of pink beads on each side as well. So their accent color is the dominating color for each of these bracelets. So yeah, let's start making these. I'm going to do this the same assembly style, but without, you know, describing what I'm doing. You're just going to see me do it. And sometimes you very unnecessarily get in a hurry and do wonky things like I just did. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, and I don't want these to be falling off, because if they fall off and then I get mixed up which one is which. And if this one needs some more space, I have more of these black fire polish, and I will just add another link for each if I need more space, because these beads are scaled mostly a little bit smaller than the last one we were doing. I almost cut that without putting a bead there. That would have been silly. How many of you saw that? I think I am going to be able to get all 3 bracelets with this spool and not have to get to my next one. I am ready though. I'm ready if I need it. I was not going to go into the September chain challenge without getting spare wire, especially the 20 gauge, which, since I'm more comfortable with simple loops, is the one that I was going to be using most. So I did definitely get some more. And I certainly don't want to do wrapped loops on this one, just because I want space for those beads, not space for wraps. Oof. At least I didn't fling the pliers with that. I thought for a minute that I would. Okay, I need to straighten a little bit more of my wire. Now that I've used this much, so I'm just pulling a little bit more off the spool. I've still got these to do, and I'm just straightening it again. I didn't do that last time and it kind of snagged me up a little bit. Do the straightening halfway through. Yeah. So this is something that like I said, I've been thinking about it for a while. I got the beads out tonight. Came home from date night, got my beads out, and started kind of playing around with the order that I wanted to do things. I knew the concept I wanted to do, but I've resisted, because I know me. If I think too much about a design, then I have to go ahead and do it. But I knew that Becky wasn't going to be able to test these metals until closer to the release, and so I did not make this way ahead of time. This is just the night before. Oh, this is what Becky says. I have nice strong nails. I don't have nice strong nails. They're just stronger than hers. But yeah, they're gonna get a little bit ripped up with this. There we go on our little spiky bits. I just think that's fun. I think it's fun. It's not something I typically do, but I think it is like extra spicy. All right, so let's move those round nose out of the way and give all of our friends their little trim, because that's what's next. And I am going to go ahead, because this has all of these spacers stacked on it, I am going to go ahead and do the next step on this one instead of waiting for the others, just because I don't want to have to chase the spacers. So I am finishing this loop so that that gets tightened back up. That is not okay. That did not do what it was supposed to. So what happened here is, in the course of, I had this wire bent over. You saw that I had it bent over, but in the course of making my loop, I think I made it a little bit too small and tight, and so it straightened out the neck. So now I'm trying to get it centered again. That is good enough. They kind of flop over a little bit, these spacers, even though I made them nice and tight. I wonder if I should have done something different. No, see, there's space there, but there's not space there. Why is there space there when there's not space there? This is Jenny's learning curve with these. There's not space. How is it? Now there's space. Okay. So, sorry. This one is smaller. I have a little bit more room. So what I'm going to try to do, and you don't want to do this too much, but I'm going to try to back up this loop a little bit. Oops, wrong pliers. I'm going to try to back up this loop a little bit because I want it tighter. And then I remake the loop. I don't know if I tightened that at all. I feel like maybe I did. A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. That's okay. It can be a little chaosy. All right. I am not going to fidget with that much longer because we still have another bracelet to do after this one. So I want to get these other links ready and then put them together. This one's a lot easier as far as deciding which beads to use because I'm going to put these green ones right next to the focal and then do the black ovals and then the black fire polish is my plan. And then we'll see if I need to do some additional links. I feel like I might need to, if this isn't quite long enough on its own. Ooh, I just had an idea. I wonder how that's going to work. Sorry, about my third bracelet. We're not even there yet, but here I am like thinking about, oh, how do I want to do these links? I think I know. I think I know. I think that'll be an interesting way to do those links. All right. When you grab the right pliers, instead of your chain nose pliers, you can grab the round nose pliers, then you can finish making these links. There I was being so good, recording during the day for my last make. And now, 12 hours later, here I am. Yep, that was 12 hours ago. Sometimes I create in the day. Usually I create at night. In probably the hottest room in my house, which is a little bit less fun, friends. I live in Texas. It's not even close to sweater weather yet. Our thermostat is on the other side of the house in what is usually our darkest room, darkest, coolest room. So not reflective of the room I'm sitting in. What I need to do is get ceiling fans. We bought this house new. We're the first owners in it. And so like builder grade on a lot of things. Like we bought it, actually someone else was going to be buying this house and they had a job change. And so their contract fell through. And so we bought it. We got a great deal, but it was all their choices. So there's one ceiling fan in the entire house and it's in the living room. There's no ceiling fans in any of the bedrooms. They're boxed for it, but there's no actual fans. So airflow is not the greatest. And why we haven't changed that in the like 10 years we've lived here, I could not tell you. But now that I've got my studio, my husband insists on me calling my studio, which I love. It makes me feel like, you know, I'm doing this for real friends, where it's not my office or my desk or my bead room, which there's nothing wrong with calling it a bead room if that's what you call yours, but he calls this room my studio, and he wants me to call it that as like an affirmation of sorts that I'm doing this and it's real, and I love that. I love that he insists on me calling it my studio. And not just like filming studio. It's my artist studio. We're still working on getting it all sorted and organized, but this is also where I'm going to be having all of my painting supplies as well as my my beading. Because I also paint. Becky paints. She does watercolor. I also do watercolor. We were doing it together for a while. And I want to get back to it at some point, but I want to feel like I have the space to do it. And I don't really have that organized yet. It needs to get organized to be functional for me. But that's all right. That's all right. It is a work in progress, and we're gonna go with it. All right, so let's get this baby connected. Finding the open side. There's the open side. Come on. This is a little bit finicky, so I'm getting these attached first, so that I only have to deal with these spacers trying to come off once, because they're already kind of being a pain. Maybe you'll choose to do something else if you follow this design. Get this closed again. Come on. Hold those in place. Okay, that got closed. I'm going to do this other side too, just so that it is done. Actually, I'm going to use this link to attach to it. That's what I should have done on the other side. So, pro tip, if you have fidgety spacers on just one of your links, use a non-fidgety link to attach to it. Better, yeah? Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with this. So let's get this guy open. Not that one. Ovals next. Ovals next. And then we can attach one of these guys. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attach all of the links that I made instead of holding those in reserve, just because looking at this, I know I'm going to need these. So what I don't know is if I need one more on each end. One of these links by themselves is 1.5 centimeters. So that will let me know. So, yeah, I feel like I'm rambling tonight. I am ready for cooler weather. I used to live in Arizona too, so I've also lived where it's a lot hotter than this. But I also spent a lot of time living in Utah, where you have more seasons, you have snow. Even in farther north in Texas, we lived there for 10 years as well, where my husband is from. And yeah, I need a little bit more length. I'm gonna add one more of each. So this is gonna be a little bit longer of the bracelets. between the two, and that's okay because, like I said, I'm probably going to add a little bit of length to this one. So I'm going to get my wire back out and just make 2 more links real quick because I want the length, because this right now is only 17 centimeters and I needed 18 centimeters minimum. And based on the way this fit and the fact that I have even chunkier things over here, I'm just going to do it. I want them to be the same on both ends. So if this is the bigger bracelet that I wear farther at my wrist, I'm not going to be mad about that. Like I said, I do need some variation in the size because I do like to stack these bracelets. And so you need them to fit a little bit differently. Oh my gosh, you guys, you know what I just did? I totally just made my first loop. I'm gonna try. I made my first loop without having a bead on there. So I'm doing this the opposite way of how I usually do. So I cut off way. This is why I do what I do, because I cut off way too much. That's why I put it on the spool first, because I have a lot less waste doing it that way. So yeah. That was silly of me. I almost just cut off that loop. I probably would have had used less wire if I just cut off the loop that I made. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna save it. Nah, then I just waste more. It's just a thing, guys. That's okay. So silly. Like, this is how much extra I have on this one. This is how much extra I had on the other one. Yeah. How many of you have done that? I think we all probably do at some point, especially when we're learning. Those who are new to the channel, I am fairly new at this. While I wanted to start jewelry making several times when I was younger, I've actually only been actively making, like being able to finish pieces, because that's the thing I never could figure out how to do, is how to actually use the right materials and finish things. But then, of course, my sister started a YouTube channel, and I didn't join her right away. I didn't join her in making stuff right away. I started making things with her when she would come for a visit, and that was fun. And that led to her coming for another visit right after I'd subscribed to my first box and my first subscription. And then she started making me do lives with her and doing design on the fly on her lives. So yeah, it's been interesting. I'll put it that way. It's been interesting. This is not the typical journey, but I feel like I'm a creative person, and what I might lack in technique, I am improving every single time I make. And I think that's something that we can all stop and remind ourselves of that even if you don't have the technique that you want, then it just means you need to practice. That's why we're doing the beaded chain challenges. You know, it started because Becky wanted to practice making beaded chain, and she knew that if she just said, oh, I should make more, then she would never actually do. And then, yes, that's going to be perfect. This one is going to be looser, but I wanted it to be looser. And this way I don't just have an awkward amount of jump rings, because like I said, this is also going to be part of a necklace. So the more finished it looks, the less stretches of chain or jump rings there are, the better. You know what I am going to do though? Okay, if I need to loosen this, the thing that I will do, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I may not do it on camera, but see this jump ring that I have attaching the clasp to this link? If I put this together and I put it on and it is too loose, I'm just going to eliminate those jump rings from the clasp. Just that jump ring right there, because it's not actually necessary. So if I need to eliminate length, I would rather eliminate that than my decorative beads. Just, you know, my personal preference. There I am using the round nose pliers. Guys, that's not what they're made for. All right. So here's the test. If I have it as like the only bracelet I'm wearing, does it slide off my hand? It does not. It catches, so it is looser. So it is going to be one that I'm going to wear farther up the bracelet or farther up my wrist. So the pink one's going to be closer to my hand. And then I'm going to make the second one. And see, these are two big focals. They don't need to be lined up with each other. You can wear them a little bit off center of each other. So this is with the two bracelets. And this could use a little bit of shortening. That's how much space it has, even farther up my wrist. So I probably will remove at least one, if not both of those jump rings that I showed you. So that is the thing that I will change. And I do need, you know what? Let's do this. You know how I said that I mean, I'd rather add decorative beads, but this one needs to be lengthened and this one needs to be shortened. See the difference in those two lengths? Scoot this over so you see. It's quite a big difference. And this is how they work so well together. I'm actually just going to take the jump rings off of this and add them to the other bracelet. So yeah, I am actually going to do that right now. We have a problem. Yo, we solve it. Yep. Okay, so I need to do two things. I need to open this jump ring because we're removing it. This is going to make both my bracelets fit a little bit better. All right. I'm just going to leave this open here for when I add it to the other. And I may not add both to my pink bracelet because I do feel like that one only needs a small adjustment. I may just add one, and that's okay. It'll be more discreet if there's just one. I also may choose to add it instead of adding it at the clasp. Like I'm removing these from the clasp here because that's how it needs to be. Set that aside. What I might do is I might add it here so that it's just part of that extra articulation, but the clasping area will look similar. Not the same, because this one won't have the jump rings at all. So we've got, nope. Sorry, I lost track of what I was doing. Setting those aside and then opening this. This is a little bit of the kind of troubleshooting that we sometimes do when we're making and needing to adjust. But you know what? Seeing how someone makes that adjustment and not just, oh, I'm going to do that off camera. This is already going to be a long video anyway. I might as well show you what I do and how I work through it. Because you may encounter the same thing, whether it's with this design or a different one. So, sorry, I had a bug flying at my face. So now I put the green bracelet on and it fits how I want it to. So this is not nearly as loose on me. It is loose, but this is how I like my bracelets to fit. So yeah, especially when I have a bunch stacked together, I want them all jangly and stuff. All right, so if I don't want this clasping area, because they are going to end up attaching to themselves to look drastically different, I don't want to add the jump rings here. So I'm going to find another place in the bracelet to add the jump rings, and I think that this is the place that makes the most sense. I can also add them here so that they're just a little bit offset from the clasp. And that's what I'm going to do. I have decided. I'm going to add the jump rings here. So I do need to open this loop to unattach, and then I'll close it, and then I'll take my already opened jump ring and attach it to these two links. I'm going to take a look at how that looks before I do the other side. I don't think that looks bad. I don't think that's going to look bad. It's not as big of a gap as if I'd put it here. So I'm going to do this side as well. So open and close this link so that I can unattach, and then use my already open jump ring. Not twisting these guys more than I have to. I've already opened and closed them a couple of times, so I don't want to weaken the metal. And now this bracelet, which fit a little bit too snug, it's trying to attach to the other magnet. Hold on. That is the thing with doing these. See, now both of them have that same kind of movement that I like, where I can rotate it on my wrist if I want to. I think the green one is still a little bit bigger, but the pink one is not going to pop off my wrist, because what happened is I put my hand on my armrest on my chair and shifted in my seat, and it popped open. So I knew it needed to be a little bit bigger so that that magnet would stay engaged. So there we go. There we go. Now we have these two bracelets, and I'm going to leave them on while we work on our third bracelet. If you've hung out this long, thank you for hanging out for an hour. We're not done. Let's make our third bracelet. So for this one, I am going like full sparkle, but like embracing all the fun colors. So I'm going to make a couple of links. I might need to add something to hold these spacers so that they sit nice against the link. So I might need to add to these ones, but I don't want to add too much because, again, they're going to be big. So if I do add anything, it's just going to be some small silver spacers that I meant to get out before, but we'll get now. Just something from my stash, because there wasn't anything quite that small here, but I might need them in order to hold those in the right position. So I've got just some little silver spacers that we may need. Don't know, because I haven't done this yet. And then to round out our bracelets, we've got these little frosted beads. And I currently have the plan of doing them as like just individual links like I did with these other ones, but they're much smaller. And so I'm actually wondering, what if instead I paired them up and the links were actually like the alternating pink and green, but together, because, you know, story. And then used these small crystally spacers between them. Do I have enough of those? That are the ones that they don't have color. I need at least 4, possibly 6 if I need to make one more of those links. I think that's what I want to do, guys. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to get out a couple more pink beads and green beads in case I need that extra link. But we're going to use the little rhinestone, you know, rondelle spacers for those. Just like we're using the colored ones with the sparkly beads, we'll use these in between these pairs. And just make some fun links. Let's do this. Okay. This might be a disaster, friends. We're going to find out. So the first thing we need to know is, how do these sit on the wire together? And do I need to have a spacer or something to hold them? Because what I want to do is I want to bracket the pink with the green, and then bracket the green with the pink. And what's happening, at least on the pink one, is that it's moving and kind of catching on the sparkles. See how it just did that? It's kind of moving and catching on the sparkles. So can I get it to not do that if I start with, I don't think the green one was doing it. Woo! Okay, I just poured them all out. Hi, got plenty of those. And these are nickel-free spacers, friends. They're just little 3.2 millimeter spacers. Let's get a few out here to try with it. So if I have this and then this, does it behave better is the question. I don't think this is big enough to make it behave. It is small enough that it doesn't add very much to the length. It is going to give me something to make the loop against that's a little bit easier than doing the loop against those guys. So let's try it. Let's try it. So I'm going to do little silver spacer and then pink rondelle, pink sparkly rondelle, I guess. And then we'll have these. They're just to hold that space. I don't want them to take very much visual space. That's the plan. Okay, and then, so we've got those. And then I'm thinking for, let me get these down on the wire and straighten out more. Guys, this is so fun. This is so fun. I mean, it's going to be the pink in the middle, but you get the idea. You do. You get the idea. All right. Then we're going to go straighten this out a little bit. So then we're going to have pink and green together as a link. I love that as a link. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Just making a bunch of those. I think I'm going to end up with 6 of those. I may not use all of them. I don't mind pulling apart a link and using the beads elsewhere. I might also use them in my earring idea. I had planned on doing something different for the earrings, but maybe we can incorporate something with this. I don't know. Did I end up with not enough? Where did my other pink? Oh, there's my other pink. I was like, this isn't adding up right. I have an uneven number of pink and green. Oh, I love these. I love these links. Okay, these might be my favorite links out of the whole design. They just, how precious is that, right? All right, and then my length without any of the thingies linking. Yeah, I think this is going to be just about right. I think it's going to be just about right. But like, how cute is this bracelet going to be? Oh, loving it. How cute is that bracelet going to be with this? Okay, back to business. Time to make links. So I just move up all of those three beads. I like this better than doing the just individual ones for such small beads, which you can do. Beki did a great necklace earlier in the month where she did that with just some very small beads. And I loved it. But I feel like I'm also telling a little bit of a story with this trio. You know, I like to tell stories with my jewelry, and I feel like I'm telling a little bit of a story with this, especially with combining the pink and the green and them working together. That's I will admit I have not seen the play. I have not watched the first movie, but I did read the book by Gregory Maguire that the Wicked movie or play and movie are based off of. And there's so much in that is about their relationship. And so I feel like this is appropriate to have this combined bracelet here that's both sides. Both sides. So I'm assuming they kept some of the core things from the book to the play. And I will see all of it. I'm going to watch the first half. That's why I haven't watched it yet, because I hate when they like do something in two halves and separate it by a big space of time. Oh no. That pink bead is malformed. Do I have one that's not? Yes, I can swap that one out. So what I'm going to do, so see how that pink one, it's not balanced against the green. It's smaller. It's kind of, I didn't notice at first. It's malformed. When I cut this, I'm just going to make sure I cut just a little bit longer to make up for the difference in space. So that's just a tiny bit longer. And then before I bend over my wire, I'll just remove my malformed bead and put the better one on that I got out of my little design kit. That means I don't have very many of those left, guys, because I'm using them. I'm using them in this, and I've got a couple set aside for my earring idea. So this is so fun. Okay, now here's where we're really gonna find out how well those spacers behave. I think it'll be fine. I just need to make sure that I have nice tight links so that they don't have much room to move around. So I will be doing that when I bend this over, I'm making sure that I'm holding the bottom of this link and holding all of the beads down so that when I bend over, I'm right at that bead. See? Puppy fur. And until I finish those, their little spacer beads are going to try to escape. That's expected. Okay. Do this again here. In this case, it's 5 beads total that I'm making sure that I'm grabbing, including beginning and ending with one of the silver spacers. They'll do better once they finish, promise. Right, and the last one. No, it's fine. Okay, setting aside my wire. We'll use it one more time when we do the earrings. I'm going to go ahead and, with these ones that have all the extra beads, I am going ahead and finishing them instead of snipping first and then finishing with all the others, because I really want to make sure that I don't have runaway beads. They're already trying to go and do weird things. I tried to make it tight and then it doesn't work. You might have chosen different spacers for it, but I think it's cute. I'm just going to make them anyway. I'm going to make them anyway. They're going to rustle and jingle on my wrist anyhow. So as long as they don't try to, like they don't have enough room to actually make the spacer go fully cocked into the sparkly bits. So as long as it doesn't do that, I can deal with it. If it wobbles around on the link, I'm not going to be mad. That's not bad. They don't look too bad. They kind of get a few little gaps, but I think when I'm wearing it, it won't be as obvious. Yeah, I'm tearing up my nail. Okay, let's snip these other guys. I think this is the one link that I've repeated the most. Well, it's tied with the black fire polish ones. So I suppose I could have made them ahead of time, but I didn't have the idea to combine this in this way until I was sitting here making. So again, sometimes your creativity does its thing as you're actually making, and there's nothing wrong with a pivot. They're so fun, so sparkly. I mean, even hers are sparkly because it's all faceted. I love it. Just a different style, that's all. Different kind of sparkle. Okay. All right, this is the last link. Like I said, I may not need the extra, but I think that I will. So I've got them made. So last step, as you know, got to do our little squish and twist. Make sure our links are parallel and work hardened. This has been a definite start to finish. This takes longer than my other bracelet trios. They're, like I said, they are usually strung. But I wanted to try the challenge. I mean, I am challenging myself. I'm like, can I make my bracelet trio, which is meant to be convertible jewelry, so it's not just making one bracelet, but 3 bracelets that all need to work together to become other things. I had to figure out, can I do this? So let's get to it. So I've got my clasp, and we either will or will not use the jump rings. So right now it's got the jump rings on, but let's do as we've done before and start with this middle guy. Oh wait, no, I do have to. I was like, oh, I shouldn't open that one to attach the next, but the next is just as bad. So I will open this one, and attach and close. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then open. Attach. Oops. And close. So I'm definitely playing with the pink and green together on this. It might look a little bit chaotic, but I think it's fun. And this is how it's going to be with the trio. A nice little combination with these other guys. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and the way I'm attaching these guys, see, because it's got the pink rhinestone right here, I'm attaching, I opened the wrong side. Hold on, close that back up because I'll be opening the green sides of things. So I'm opening the green side. I guess I could have left that open, just attach the next one so that we're truly alternating pink and green. So there is no green right next to another green, and there is no pink right next to another pink. See? That is, yeah, I am just gonna open this one just because it's easier for me. Attaching the green to the pink. And get the other side done and make sure that I'm going to use all of the links before I, oh, I actually just did. Yep. Nope, they're all going on. And then I might take some off if I need to. These bracelets have a lot going on. I'm not going to lie. But I still think they're fun. Just curious what we're at right now. Okay, perfect. Yep. Because again, I need, especially when you're stacking all of them together, my middle bracelet, I usually need to have this space to kind of jumble around between the other two. So if this is a little bit longer than the first two, I'm not mad about it. In fact, I am going to go ahead and attach it using the jump rings. I will remove them if I need to, but we're going to start with them on. Because I want to see how this nestles between the other bracelets. If it's way floppy and loose, then we'll remove some jump rings. We can if we want to. Okay. All right. And it's hot in here, so my bracelets are kind of sticking to my skin a little bit more than normal. So I'm just going to offset my main focals so that I have room. So I'll just offset these a little bit and then put the other, it attached to my pliers, hold on, free that thing, and then attach it in between, and then you've got these chunky band of bracelets, and it's honestly, it's perfect. It's perfect. I don't want to change that at all. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? So before we make the earrings, I just want to show you how this bracelet trio is convertible. So whether you stay for the earrings or not, I hope you do, because I have some cute ideas with it as well. You need to look at all three bracelets. So we've got our green and black, our pink and crystal, and then the fun colored one that combines both. And there are several ways that you can use this. So as I said, you can, as you saw, you can stack them all together. You can also connect all three. Oops, no. into an asymmetrical. You just have to find the right side of the magnet. See, that's why I use these magnets, because they just look like more fun beads, don't they? So you can use all three together and have an asymmetrical necklace. So this you can use as the focal, and then these can be either of the sides, or this can be the focal and these can be the two sides, or this can be the focal and these can be the two sides. Or you can say, I don't want to wear it as that. I'm going to wear it as a choker that looks like this, or a choker. So choker that looks like this, choker that looks like this, or you can swap in this for either of those positions and wear whatever's left as a bracelet. So there's a whole bunch of mix and match configurations you can do with the bracelet trio. This, just putting them all on the same magnet. And you don't have to put them all on the same wrist. You can mix them up. You can, you know, do whatever you want. So those are the bracelets. And let's take a look at what I was thinking for earrings. And this is a little bit flexible. Might pull some things, especially spacers from the box, which I've got open over here. But they had these cute little cats. And they're adorable. And they also have like a little wand charm and a little witch's hat charm, and they hang at different lengths. So I'll need to kind of figure out how I want to do it, because I'm thinking asymmetrical earrings. So we'll have a Glinda earring and an alphabet earring. And I'm not sure what I want to add. I definitely need to add something, because this is, if this is the bottom, I've got a couple of these that I can add in with this. I can use some of these like spiky spacers. Let's do the little ones, I think. And then that kind of takes up that space. We'll have, whoops, like this, maybe. So we'll have a dangle attached to a dangle, attached to a link. And then if we're going to take up similar space, then this with maybe, I want to use those differently. I don't have more of these, but I could put, ooh, you know what I could put? I could give her her little sparkly balls again. Or I have just enough of these. I can put one of these in between each. And that way they're going to be pretty close to the same length in total. This is going to have more length up here because of the size of this bead. And this one's going to have more length here because of the size of the charm. But they're going to be roughly the same length, I think. That's as close as I think I'm going to get with making them out of completely different. Like the only thing that's the same between the two is the cat. So let's get our wire back out, and we're gonna do just a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more. So one of the ones I know I want to do is I want to make a link that's just the cat itself. So we'll do a couple of cat links, and then we'll have the alphabet link, which has these, this guy, whoops, and that, yeah. And then for the Glinda link, we're gonna have this thing here, and I used these with the round part towards the heart. I'm going to do the round part towards the cat, so that mirrors from the bracelet. And you can see we're using some of the same beads and stuff that we used in the bracelet, so these will make great earrings. But there's going to be a distinctly pink and a distinctly green earring with their associated charms. So yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So we've got 4 more links, and then we are done for tonight. And the only one out of all of this that has a forward facing is the wand. So I am going to want to make sure that I have my links positioned in a way that will be nice. I'm going to need to look and calculate a little bit. Like if my ear wire hangs this way, do I need, because I've got 2 links, the question is, do I need 2 parallel links, or does one of those need to be perpendicular to make it work out? That's the part I need to kind of calculate, but I do a better job visualizing it, like getting my links out and looking at it. So we're just gonna go with that. These little cats. Look at this little cat. So cute. So freaking cute. And I mean, you could turn him into a charm and just have him be his own thing, but I love turning him into a link with a charm even further. Like, let's just do it all. Let's just do it all. Because I'm extra tonight, apparently. But honestly, if you're making wicked themed jewelry, are you a little bit extra anyway? Maybe just a little bit. It's very theatrical. All right. So, actually done with the wire now. Okay, so if I have my ear wires, these are just some nickel-free ear wires that I ordered from Amazon that I know are safe. So, if this charm is going to face forward, then the charm above it needs to be like this, and the charm above it 2 parallel links. I can adjust it if I'm wrong, but I think I need both just to be parallel links because I am using 2 links. If you choose to only do 1 link before your charm, whether it's the cats or the beads, you will need to make it a perpendicular link. But because I have 2 links, I can keep them both parallel. So when I do these, I will adjust them to make them parallel. And I'm just going to follow the same on the witch's hat because it's going to look better this direction anyway rather than straight on. So it also is going to need this loop facing forward, which if you put them directly on the ear wires would also be the right direction. Just, you know, if you decide to just be super not extra, which you can absolutely be not extra. This is just, you know, I'm having fun, so I just keep going. And these are fairly light beads and charms, so I'm not too worried about them being heavy. Just whatever your preferred length is. I know some people don't like long earrings. I am getting used to longer earrings. I'm getting used to figuring out how long I need an earring to be and be comfortable with the length, but also, okay, well, I want to make it pretty and long, but also I need to make sure that it's not going to irritate my ear, which is already sensitive to metals, but it's also sensitive to, you know, I can only use certain ear wires, the thinner gauge like this one, because thicker just doesn't fit in my ear hole, my earring hole, I guess I should say. And so like I already have to be careful about some of those kinds of things. So having something heavy can make my ear irritated, and then I start questioning, is that a nickel reaction or is it just that I'm, you know, made my earrings too heavy, because they feel the same sometimes, a little bit of a burning sensation. The nickel allergy will also make it swell, and either way, it doesn't feel nice. So, all right, let's get this all attached and see if I was right. I'm pretty sure that 2 parallel loops is exactly what I need. Why does that not look parallel? It is. Okay. Okay, just being weird. All right, so I'm gonna start by attaching the cat. It helps if I get the right tool. And my cats are going to spin around. I did not wire wrap them to make them face one direction. They also have a front and a back, but you know, cats will be cats sometimes. Sometimes they just sit there with their back to you and like, whatever. Sometimes they are sitting and looking at you and judging. So this is my witch's hat cat. So I need to attach my Elphaba colorway, which that's the other thing. I read the name. So I have been thinking in my head this whole time that it was Elphaba instead of Elphaba. But apparently it's Elphaba. Yep, I was right. Two parallel links get me the desired results. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, yeah, I'm just giggling at my cats now. Because they're cute, okay? And I've got my wand charm. And it does have a front or back because it's concave at the back like that. So you want to make sure that the nice side is out when you attach to your ear wire, which will be my next attachment. Okay. All right. So this is the front of my necklace right here. And so I need to make sure that the front of my earring is on the same side. So just put it on like that and close it up. And we have fun jewelry. I love that. I'm having so much fun with this. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I think this is fun. So we've got Glinda, we've got Elphaba, we've got the two of them working together, and then we've got our little kitty cats, and I am putting them on opposite sides. Except, you know what? If I did wear them, like, if I wore this asymmetrical, so I had pink on one side and green on the other, I probably would, like, for me, I would want the symmetry of putting it the right direction. So cute. But for showing you guys right now, you just see all that riot of color. Okay, maybe I'm giddy because it's 4:17 in the morning, but I think this turned out pretty good, guys. I think this turned out pretty good. And remember, you can wear the bracelets in a variety of combinations. I'm trying to make them look cute. I'm just going to move this over and give them all more space instead of trying to overlap them. I just don't want the one in the middle to look all squished. And she does look a little squished. But, these are fun. These are fun. I hope that you had fun while I made this. I hope that you had a good time. And I know I had fun. I would love to see what you guys come up with for this. We have our community open on YouTube. It can only be accessed using the YouTube app right now. So if you're on your TV or your computer, you won't be able to access it, but I'll put a link to the community. Love to see what you post. Beki and I are both in the Softflex group. So if you post your creations there, you're welcome to tag us so that we can see what you made as well. And it's just looking forward to seeing what you guys create with this. This is something, like I said, I've been looking forward to for a while, and it's super fun. That hat just wants to sit up. It's cute. I'll have to figure out how I can photograph all this. But I hope that you had a great time. If you enjoyed this video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe and ring that bell so you know when we have new videos. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What did you love? Well, maybe not hate, but you know, would you have done something differently? Did this inspire you to get into your stash and dig some things out? Do you want to make a bracelet trio now? I think it's a fun concept. So I hope you enjoy, do all those things. And as always, happy beading and don't forget to play. Bye, friends.